Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Man at YouTube with a let's build and review of the 1/76 scale Churchill, the Second World War tank, initially released in 1961. We have two dark green moulded trees in its traditional format, and with how it looks you can understand why they're referred as runners or trees, which can be quite fragile. Set of decals and very large A4 instructions. Now the Churchill has a lot of very small wheels, and this can become very tedious very quickly, but in the end looks very effective as a final build. The biggest shit of this build is trying to get the two halves of armour to sandwich the set of wheels together as they constantly move around. I like to nip off one of the plugs sticking into the plastic wall, glue it and fill the holes later. The rest of the build is very straightforward, and to my surprise, for an absolute old and small kit, the detail is absolutely lovely with absolutely minimal seam lines. There's one or two at the front and back that does need a little filling, which a tiny bit of putty isn't a problem, but it just goes together and can accept a heap of paint immediately. The detail is well represented and bulges out quite nicely, which we'll be able to take to an airbrush or thick enamel hand painting well without flooding anything out. Unfortunately, some of the older Airfix kits do have an issue being inaccurate for people who are very particular about military subjects, though if I recall correctly, the Churchill, being an English tank, is one of the more accurate ones for its time. On the side, the turret needs a little bit of work with some putty squished in underneath inside the hatch area and a generous amount all the sides. The tank's overall appearance is fantastic. I'm really happy that the tracks is half covered. I'll be priming it in Plamo Colour Primer, and the rest of the colours are going to be as closely to the box art as possible. Tamir green and track colour. The kit's easily painted by painting the bottom first, flipping top and having the turret attached to a skewer. As always, I love the Airfix painting guides, and with Humbrol colours you can get it fairly accurate, but with a single tone and a few decals, it's in no time you're going to get a finished model with white pigment weathering and inking, of course. The rubber tank tracks and spare tank tracks on the side were hand painted, which was fair enough. Then decals applied with satin and matte varnish on top. I used Citadel Warhammer inks and followed by MiG production light pigments. For a mental build, or a way to hone what you've learnt in your skills, a very basic single colour tank or military subject of a basic manufacturer standards is a fantastic way to just refresh yourself and not think too much. This was an extremely easy build, and including painting I think I've spent about 3 days and thoroughly enjoyed the entire project. I've got something that's almost worthy of putting into a magazine or a show, and it's just a fantastic addition to my little collection of growing tanks. Now, comparing to my last out-of-the-box adventure, the Type 97 doesn't look as well-defined or dynamic as the Churchill. Weathering such a fancy colour scheme and small scale is extremely difficult, though I think they rack up next to each other quite nicely. All in all, I thank you all for partaking in this little adventure with me in a basic yet fun kit. I think it's always fun from time to time to go back to your roots or a very basic out-of-the-box kit and do so to share it around. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, sometime in the future, I will definitely do more Airfix reviews. See you later.